We are here with state employment economist Nick Beleiciks for the release of Oregon's December employment figures. Nick, can you tell us what the story is this month?
Well, Oregon's unemployment rate rose to 4.1% in December. That's slightly higher than the record low that we had seen a few months ago. And overall, 4.1% is still a very low unemployment rate. And over the year, it looks like it's going to be a record low unemployment rate in general.
Okay, so the unemployment rate hasn't changed a ton. What can you tell us about jobs figures?
Well, job growth seemed to have slowed at the end of 2018. In November, we added just 300 jobs, and then again in December, we added another just 300 jobs. So just 600 jobs over the last 2 months of the year isn't very much.
And where does that fit into the long-term picture?
Over the year, job growth is running at a rate of about 1.6% in Oregon right now, so lower than the 2% that we had seen over the last 2 years. We're also slightly slower than the U.S. job growth rate, which is running at about 1.8%.
Are there any industries that stand out as overperforming, underperforming?
Well, two of the industries that haven't added many jobs recently, which contributed to the slowdown, are retail trade, which had a weak holiday hiring season, and they're down jobs over the last year. Construction, which had been growing very fast and the fastest growing industry in the state, has also slowed. It's still the fastest growing industry in the state, but it's not contributing to the sort of job growth that it was earlier in the year.
So the unemployment rate ticked up a bit this past month, and job growth has seemed a little bit slower these past few months. What would you say Oregonians should take away from this report?
Well, right now, the latest data coming in shows that it's still a very tight labor market. 4.1% unemployment rate is historically very low for Oregon. And although job growth has slowed, it's a little hard to tell whether this could be because there aren't enough workers to take the jobs that are out there. They're not taking up the vacancies that employers have right now, or if it's a slowdown in demand for workers from the employers. It'll take a little more time before we can really see what this next trend is.
A big topic right now is the partial federal government shutdown. Does that have any impact on December's job figures?
The current shutdown doesn't affect the December figures at all. Although workers who were furloughed starting December 21st, that is too late to affect the numbers that are coming out for December right now. If there's going to be an effect in our data, it may show up starting with the January figures, which will be published on March 5th.
And this is because the survey for these figures takes place before the shutdown occurred.
That's correct. The household survey, which is where the unemployment rate comes from, that occurred, the week of reference occurred before the shutdown. So workers, if they're in the survey, would be reporting as employed. And the pay period also occurred before the shutdown.
Okay, thanks. Local figures. When will we see some local figures?
The unemployment and employment figures for counties and metro areas will be available on Tuesday, January 22nd at 10 a.m.